Hi, hello. So, as promised, today's video is going to be my mother of all tutorials, but remastered because I learned anatomy differently now. So, you know. I'm also going to try to do the rendering part in this as well and how I do my flat colors. So this video is going to be really long. I'll see if I might put like time stamps or like transition sort of deals where it's like I cut out certain things that are really monogamous. I don't know, not monogamous, but like it's like, you know, like you get the idea, like filling in the flat colors. Like I would probably cut that out because you get the idea. That's just the flat colors, but like, you know, like you get the paint bucket, you paint in the paint bucket, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, let's get on with the video. So today, since I'm going to start over, we're going to draw someone new. We love new here. New is great. So new. Excuse my cat. What are you doing? I'm not going to worry about that later. She's doing something. So let's see. We want this? Yes. So now we just gotta draw. Oh god, I didn't think about what to draw. I've made a terrible mistake with my life. What to draw? That is the question. Do I have an answer to that question? You know what? We're gonna draw Kata and her. Well, she kind of has a new design. She has a new outfit. My OC, who I haven't revealed. Well, kind of revealed to the world. So, okay. So let's start. So, the first thing that you do when I sketch, the process is kind of similar, but the way I do anatomy it can be very, very different. You know. Because I did an anatomy study recently, so I've learned some things. So we get the marker. We're gonna go with pink, and we're just gonna turn off the stabilization so you can be loose with it, and go up the sides so that you can be even more loose. So we'll just get a pose. So let me explain this. So this is just the basic rough shapes, and my basic rough shapes include a circle for the head and then this sort of deal, right? And then I make a sort of diamond for like the shoulder area. I've learned that that's the best thing to do and to not just draw a straight line, because when you draw a straight line, like here's your head, right? Here's your straight line, here are your shoulders. I used to do this. I used to do that. So, you know, we don't want to do that. So, I started doing this triangle thing, and it's made my necks more proportioned with the body. You know? And then let's make it a bit smaller because I want to hide in the whole torso. And now, you're probably thinking if you watched that other video, isn't this quite similar? You make the thing, but I'll show you. But first, and then after you do that, I always draw either a line or some sort of circle indicating what direction the torso is going to be in. Because if you're trying to do a pose, then you don't know, like, you know? Like, you don't know where you're going to go, so you got to make a plan of where you're going to go. Also, I think I need to fix something. No. We'll fix this. No, I want to move this way. Okay, I moved. We're good. I fixed it. Oh wait, now I'm too far in the middle. This is... Shit. Okay, I think that's good. so I don't go off the screen into Narnia. Okay. And so I either do a line, if it's something like really like action-y, I'll make a line, like the line of action is where it's like the line of like how the body's gonna be, which I don't do. I mean, I sometimes do it, but I don't know if this requires it, but we'll put it there. So like it'd be like that. And then a little circle for where like your bendy part is, like I guess your kind of stomach. And then for the hips, oh wait, this is, okay, so this is where I kind of go different, depending on the body type, right? So if I was doing a more like less athletic person, which I've changed Kata's body type to be a little bit more athletic because in her story she is a space alien like bounty hunter, so I realized, oh, she'd probably be a little more athletic. But if I wasn't gonna do an athletic person, I'd do the body and then the hips without any like thought to it, and then the legs, like, whoa, okay. But since Kata is a more athletic person, this also helps with like, I don't know, it just helps with like the stomach area. I add in the chest, which is just, right now for the undersketch, it's just some circles. I add in kind of where like, I guess like kind of like the front part of you, like where those muscles would be. And I add those and they follow the line of action. I do this because I've learned this kind of makes it where you're kind of, this part, it's more defined when you're a little bit more athletic. I used to be athletic, so I kind of know a little bit. And then for the hips, you just kind of draw a shape coming out. And yeah. I'm gonna need to resize the body a little bit because it's a little too big compared to the head, but, and then I add circles in for the hips. So you get the idea of these shapes, which is just I'll change to a different color. We'll go with blue, which is just circle. I don't know, like pentagon, because eventually we're going to add in a hairline. I should do that on another layer. No, another layer. So this shape sort of deal, because we're going to add in the hairline at some point. A circle, then a then a diamond, then a, like this shape. Please be quiet, Violet. She likes to sing at me. Then I do the, if it's a female. Okay, I'm back. Then circles, obviously, for the chest, which we'll go more into how to do that. But right now, they're just circles. We're just doing the shapes. The shape, because shapes are extremely important. And then that's sort of like the front, sort of that, like it's like a this shape, like it's like round at the top and pointy at the bottom. And then sort of triangles, and then circles where the joint would be for like, you know, the hips. Yeah, those are the shapes that we're doing right now. Let's get more shapes. So for the legs, I kind of just do this. It's like an oval, but a little bit more like free. And then for the shoulders, I make a circle where the joint connects. And then sometimes, if I remember to do so, I will, if I want the hand to be in a certain position, or the arm, I'll draw the shape first. Do I want to do that? Actually, do I want to move her over? You know, no, we'll leave it like this for now. And then drawing in where the hands would be. Learn that trick on TikTok. Stonks facts. Yes. Okay. So after I draw the kind of the shape of the hands, which Kata doesn't really show off her hands, so I don't need to worry about the hands. I will add more to my blue boy, or blue shapes, I should say. Circle. Oh crap. You know, circle. For the hands, I kind of just do like a square, and then whatever the fingers are gonna do, I make a little shape off of that. So, like, if the hands was gonna be out, I would go like that, and then the thumb would be like that. And then I draw the fingers on the inside, which is a good trick if you're not that great at drawing hands. And then for this is just an oval, and this is another oval. And then same thing with the legs, they are just ovals. So, see? Those are my shapes. So, I'm trying to break this down because I realize this is still a little chaotic and a little unorganized, but I'm trying to be a little more organized with this and be like more informative for those of you who really want to know. So, yeah. And then Kata is like, she's like this cat alien deal, like not a furry, but like, I don't know how to explain it. So, she will be getting a tail, because she has a little tail. And then just for any sort of tail, if you need to draw a tail, just a line for the undersketch, because this is just the undersketch. And then, yeah, I guess I'll use this as an example. That is not spelled right. I'm sorry. I have severe dyslexia. We're going with it. I'm not gonna copy paste that into Google to figure out how to actually spell it. That's why, secretly, that's why I don't talk much on my Discord server. Or anywhere. Like, I was like, oh, I'll make a Twitter, make some cool tweets. No, you're too scared because you're pretty sure you're scared you spelled everything wrong. Yeah, living the life. Living the life. Okay, that'll be the example layer for everything, or I might turn it into a folder. Who knows? Okay, so next is the next sketch, because I don't go straight from this to the inking. That would be insane. So the next sketch, sometimes I do it in black, and for the sake of contrast, we're gonna do it in black. And I make the marker a little smaller, more detail. Right, more detail, big brain. This is where I need to draw on the actual layer, Mia. So this is where I actually start getting in, like, anatomical things, like, ooh, actually, you know what? I should probably pick, like, wildly different colors so that you guys can see it better. But normally I'll sketch over this in black. So the first thing is to sketch in the face and the hairline. You will be able to see a little bit of the top of the head past the hairline. Just as a note for later, because if not, your hairlines will be, you will have a forehead the size of Texas, and you don't want to have a forehead the size of Texas. Take it from someone who has a forehead the size of Texas. And then you draw in your head, and if you had like human ears, well, those would be placed according more to the eyes and the nose of how you do proportions, so we won't do that yet. But normally, if I do have human ears, which I will put as an example, I would put them in around this area, because normally that's where my eyes rest and the bottom of my nose rests proportionally. But we'll get into proportions in a second. We just gotta get into the rest of the body. And then I draw in my neck, as you can see. Also, I did not draw her face shape very good. I didn't warm up. I kind of just woke up like an hour ago. But you know what? I'm here and we're doing this video and it's great. Like, see? Like, these would be the eyes and then the bottom of my nose is usually go right there. So, yeah. Here, we'll leave that. We'll leave that for now. Next is the neck. We add in our beautiful neck. And depending on the art style, depending on how thick, I make my necks really thin. But that's just a stylistic preference. If you want to be like chunk neck, then do that. Be free to do your thing. And then I just kind of go over it with the knowledge I have, because doing the shapes first, like, it helps a lot. Like, there are some people who just do this sort of sketch, which I don't know how they do it without having something being off. Because when you do an undersketch like this, even traditionally, you kind of see how you're going to proportion things out, and you can, like, fix it before you're, like, permanently doing it. And time for the hands, which she kind of has funky, like, claw hands. But yeah, you know what? They're not even really going to be seen anyway, so that works. No, that does not work. We're just gonna say no. We're just gonna forget about that hand. And yeah. And then if you have any body details on your character, like tattoos, it helps me to add them kind of now, because you might forget about them. And then draw the arm back. Okay. So now let's talk about, like, drawing the torso. So men and women are wildly different when it comes to, like, the torsos, because after studying a little bit and actually trying to learn how to draw men properly, or males or whatever, I realized that they have where women, or more like feminine bodies, have like boobs. They have a more, even if you're like a weaker male or masculine body, you have like stronger pectoral muscles because there's no boob there. And I'll go over that. I might go over that on our example page, but for right now we're gonna focus on the like more feminine body, because I'm getting better, but it's the body I know how to draw the best, or it's the type of body I know how to draw the best. And also, Kata is a very extremely exaggerated character. I wanted her to be big shapes because she's an alien, so one, I didn't care if she fit human logic because she's not human, and two, I kind of wanted to try animating her, and I realized it'd be easier if I made her big shapes. So she's very shapely, as you can tell. So for the chest area, don't trace the circles exactly, because if you do, that it looks weird. It looks like that. It looks like no. What I usually do is either I saw this trick online, and it kind of works if your character has like a certain type of neckline. Like, she has a sort of shirt that goes like this. Just kind of like make it into the shape of a heart. That works really well if you're not too good. But for like other things, if you don't want to draw the shape of the heart, what I've learned is the best is just imagining there are water balloons sitting on a chest, and also just kind of like, because they're just water balloons, they're just water balloons sitting on a chest. So you just kind of draw them like they're water balloons sitting on a chest, and how you just imagine that in your mind, and that should be the best way to draw them. And then decrease the water balloon mass due to chest size. Like, Kata has a big chest, so she's gonna get big bazongas. Maybe not that big, but you know. But she has a shirt like this, so I could have also used the heart trick I kind of switch between those tricks depending on how I feel about them or what I want to do or what pops into my mind first. But for now, we're just kind of drawing the anatomy under. Cause some people do have a hard time with anatomy, and I wanted to try to help in this, like, the sketching part, because this video is probably going to be, like, 2 hours long. I'm not even going to lie to myself. So I wanted it to be 2 hours of information. So this is what it's going to be. Information. So next is the torso. So Kata is very, like I said, like this shape. Like, it's because you don't see her stomach ever, but she kind of has, like, because she's a very athletic character, because, again, Bounty Hunter has to run around and, like, shoot people with a space gun. She's got she's, like, very, like, she has she kind of has a little like, not like a big six-pack, but, like, a little six-pack. And, like, she has really strong legs from, like, the running. Also, her alien, like, race, I guess, she's also really light, because the race that she's based off of, there are, like, only 1,000 of them left on a planet, but they are all people who, like, they travel in the trees, they live in a big forest on a planet, so she's very light for how, like, her size, because she's meant to be able to scale up trees and live in trees, like a bird. So that's another reason why she has such a tiny waist. It's because I wanted to give off that sort of... She's muscular, but she's also very small, so she can... So, you know, because she's one of those people, obviously. Or, you know, like, she's meant to go up a tree and live in the trees and be in harmony with the trees. She doesn't, but, you know... And then for the hips, you just kind of go out. You're just following. As you can see, I'm just following the shapes. So, and then for someone called it the pocket of life, which I'm gonna use that term. Just kind of like, you see how I made that shape? Just follow the shape, and then like kind of go like that. And then I made one leg like step out in front of the other. Little belly button, and if you want to make a belly button, just go like make a little backwards C, and then you do the thing that every artist doesn't like doing: reverse horizontally. Oh my god, I made her hips super huge. You always do this to make sure there's nothing like overly like wonk, because you want to fix it now. Oops, I hit my mic. You want to fix the wonk now rather than fixing the wonk later. Trust. Because you don't want to be doing the line art and then like, oh, that looks really weird. I wonder why. Oh. I've done that a lot. Sucks. Better. Yeah, much better. And I don't really need to worry about the hands, because her hands are mostly covered by sleeves. They're like these little, like, they're kind of like alien little claw things, so that she, again, because her kind is based off of people who can scale trees. I really thought about that and, like, how they would live in, like, a jungle area separate from the galaxy for plot reasons. They're, like, they don't associate with any other things. They just, on that planet, they're extremely, like, it's just like 1,000, like, maybe, like, 3,000 of them. You know. Oh, crap. So, you know. I almost dropped my pen. But yeah. But they have these claw hands, so again, scale up the trees. So now that we have what the body is gonna be, also 6-packs. They're mostly defined in shading, but like if you want to go like and try, I'm not very good at it, so I'm not even gonna try it. So I mean, I just did, but we pretend that didn't happen. And so as you can see, we still have those shapes. So we still got the shapes. Now it's time to draw everything else. So first we'll start with the clothes, because I think that's what people have a big trouble with, is clothes. And I want to help with that. because clothing is very difficult and I want to help all of you. So what color do we pick next? Blue. You know what? Well, actually, let's go with this blue. Okay. So the first thing that Kata has, like clothing-wise, that I'll start with is I normally draw from the top down when it comes to clothes. Like I'll start with whatever the shirt is, or if necklaces or choker. Which, Kata used to be like an actual like full-on cat girl, without any like added to it. She was a green cat girl, but her skin wasn't green. She had a green shirt. But now she has green skin. Either way, I wanted to give kind of homage to that when I kind of gave her a new outfit and give her more cat-like things. So she has this little cat necklace thing collar. Then for the shirt, this outfit doesn't have a lot of wrinkles on it. It's mostly just like a spandex sort of bodysuit, because I realized that'd be the easiest to move around in if you're moving. But the spandex does have like a light like mesh on it, so the top goes out and across, and yeah, as you can see there is, and that part is mesh. So normally when I indicate mesh I go like this, so I remember later. I'm like, oh yeah, that's mesh. But, right, and I think I messed up a little bit on the chest. Okay. Don't worry about me, just it didn't warm up. And then the bottom of her shirt literally follows that line, like the line of the body I told you about, and then she has sides like this that have mesh. She also has a gun holster that goes like across like this, and then the gun holster is right here. And there's the gun, and it's supposed to have stickers on it, so I just haven't figured out what stickers yet. We're still figuring that part out. And then she has thigh highs. Oh, I forgot something. Oh my god. She has scars on her legs, which I'll make a video about her at some point. So, if you like really want to know her like whole like story, it will be there one day, and I will tell it, and it'll be beautiful. And her friends, because she has other characters. I just like drawing her the most. She has like fun shapes, and her colors are really fun. Like they're all like bright. Like bright colors are super fun. Like super duper fun. Okay, so for the jacket, which the jacket actually has wrinkles, so at first, her jacket, she wears it off the shoulders, so first the hoodie part, which is just, I kind of just make what kind of looks like a hoodie like this, and then I add in a line depending on the size of the hoodie. And then use the marker, Mia, not the pencil. Then for the sleeves, I start where the hand would be. And I make like kind of a shape for the hand, and then depending on if the sleeves are super big or not, I'll just kind of make the sleeves super big and like puffy. And you don't want this for clothes, especially if they're baggy and made out of certain material, you want them to have a certain amount of wrinkles. Like this, I imagine it to be like, imagine some of her, like, I imagine this to be spandex, right? And so this would probably have like a wrinkle right here, you know, big chest, so it has a little stretch between it. And you know, and this is more baggy, so it'd probably have like some wrinkles because it's big and baggy. And then this part is cropped, so, and this is straight because it's not hanging off really of anything. It's kind of like her jacket's kind of off the shoulders and more behind her. So, and those are the clothes, and then, actually, I have my shapes, you know what. So here's one last look, the body, how that looks, right, and then I'm gonna put the clothes back on, and then, to lessen confusion when I'm inking, I will erase the body a little bit, so I'm not confused while I'm inking. I'll do the same with the hair. So as you can see, and then what I do after all that is I'll merge them down, and I'll add a clipping mask, and I'll make it all the same color. I'll make it all purple. Or actually, I'll make it all black so we know that that's been done. So all of this is done. Or light gray, I don't know. Like I said, I'm used to just... I just realized, dang it. There we go. And still the same shapes. So next, we're gonna work on the hair. So we gotta zoom in, and we'll lighten this up a bit. So as you can see, I've already added the ears, because that's more of an anatomical thing. I probably should have added the tail, but I usually add the tail with the hair because I actually don't know why I do that, but I do. So first, we will make the hair red so it stands out. So you follow the hairline, and for her hair, it's very like, I don't know, it's kind of like my persona's hair. If editing Mia remembers, because she's probably not this late in the video, to add a picture of like my little persona and what her hair is, where it goes like the bangs. Or you can look at this, but this is kind of, I don't know, the bangs are a little different. So you just kind of go down like this. Her hair is also very fluffy. So it goes out to the side, and then this side, it like is super fluffy. Like, and also another, for tips for hair, I would say, like, if your hair had a specific part, like let's just say it's specifically parted in the middle, kind of like make sure you draw with that in mind. And also, depending on your style, do not add too much like lines to the hair. Like for this, like, you know. And also, when you are drawing hair, keep in mind there is, for most hairstyles, there are different segments. Like there's the bangs, there's like kind of the side part that goes down by the bangs, that's like in front of your hair, like next to your face, and then there's the back of the hair. So when you're drawing someone with those multiple things, you keep those layers in mind, and I always start with the bangs and go to the back. So these are her bangs, and then she has the side parts that go down from the bangs. She also has extremely fluffy hair, so I keep that in mind by making sure it has a lot of volume, and like it goes over the place. It kind of defies gravity a little bit, but if your art style doesn't defy gravity, make sure it's just fluffy. And then the back. So the front, and then I usually separate the back by drawing a line where the front bangs are, and I'll go over, dang it, I'll go over the ears. And the back, it'll kind of defy gravity and be like this and super fluffy, because her hair is super duper fluffy and I love it. And sometimes if I want, I will add like opacity right here, like a little bit, so that I don't get confused later when I'm lining things. And then we will go to the tail, which the tail is just kind of, it's kind of just going over this line. And then she kind of has a lion tail sort of deal. And that is her hair. Next step, you just kind of erase everything that is that gray black color. Okay, I'm now back. So this is the hair, and just kind of erase where the hair is, or where the gray is, except for on some parts, like erase right here, because technically her hoodie would be in front of the... Oh, Jesus, I did that on both parts. Dang it. Dang it. I'll erase that bit. Now it's just time for the face. We'll lower the opacity and we'll make the face blue. We'll make it this blue. Also, as you can see after everything, the shapes that go under it, if that helps. If this helps at all, I don't know if the shapes help at all, but I don't. I think breaking down things really helps. So I'll flash those shapes every once in a while. Now for the eyes. So depending on the type of eye, which Kata has very like big, round, expressive eyes, and she also has more defined eyelashes, so I tend to do this. Like where it's like the bottom lash is like this with the eyes. And some eyes are more like, you know, this, where they're like more like slanted, and some eyes are just kind of average. And depending on how defined the eyelashes are, I do that. But right now, big eyes, which is just a circle or a line and a line. Then I do select. Control C, Control V, Control T, which this isn't cheating. This is an edge, an advantage. Makes your life easier. Because sometimes the other eye is really hard, and I don't want to make this video 3 years long trying to draw the other eye. So, there we go. Those are our two beautiful eyes. And those are the eyebrows. And Kata has a, because of her backstory, which I won't go into, she has facial scars that go up and down her face. And then the nose goes like right there. And then we'll give her a big old smile. Because she's happy. And then this, anywhere that kind of overlaps a little too much, like, I would erase up here a little bit. And then down here. And then we take this, we full opacity, we merge down, add to the clipping mask. I'll clip it, and then we'll go to that purpley blue color, get that airbrush, and there we go. And then we'll merge that down. Also, I realized I forgot to erase the skull. I thought I did, but I guess I didn't. Don't worry, this is where you just make your eraser really small. I guess I undid a little too much. See? Look. And there we go, there she is. Oh, and her ahoge. I know we already went over the hair, but I forgot to add her ahoges, which are just... Ahoges are kind of just lines, and they do that. Or some people call them anime cowlicks. But their name is ahoge, because I'm pretty sure. Now, I'm gonna come back for segment 2. Because I need to edit this audio, because it's probably super freaking long. So I will come back, and you'll see like a little transition in segment 2. Okay, see you in the next segment. Hi, hello. Okay, so now, oh wait, I forgot to turn on transparency. God, I am stupid. Shh, don't worry, everything's fine. I am here. Also, I realized in the last section I kind of was doing some Michael Jackson stuff. I look down when I'm drawing, so it can't catch me when I'm looking down, and it kind of freaks out. So if that's why I go way back like that. for anyone who needs to know. So now we went over our shapes, you know, and how they shape, right? And their sketching and how I sketch things, and some anatomy. Now we get to do the line art. So now we just add new layer over the line art, or over the sketch, not the line art. I'm smart. And now we begin. Okay, so first things first, we gotta pick a color. I'm gonna go with a blue, just because it goes with the green on our body and the pencil, and then we turn up the stabilizer all the way to the top. At least that's what I do, because I have a really shaky hand, because like here I am with the stabilizer, here I am without the stabilizer, and we zoom in and we just kind of trace over the lines. I kind of wanted to talk about something while I'm doing this, or a little bit of this, because most of the section will probably be like me, or it'll be cut out or sped up, which this is essentially just me trying to say oh dang it, I forgot. I love having memory problems. Oh yeah, oh, but this was about the line art. I only do this sometimes with the line art, depending on what I want. So sometimes I will multiply layer it over the flat colors. I might forget to mention that later, which is what I was gonna say. But I don't always do it, so it's just a personal preference. I also put the eyes on a different layer. I should probably up the opacity because I can barely even tell what's going on. So I'm gonna change that. Also, another thing with line art, if you want to change anything, like how a hair is, because you don't like it and it looks funky in the sketch and you didn't realize it until the line art, go ham, because this is your time. I'd also recommend checking your sketch before you continue, in case there's anything that does look funky, which I did that. I just didn't record it because that's boring. Okay. But yeah, all I'm doing is I'm going to trace over it, so I guess you guys will get to see the sped up version. And yeah. Okay, well, I'll see you guys, I'll hear you guys when I talk again. And I'll go down to the sped up version. Okay, I am back. I want to mention one thing, and then I'll continue back to it being sped up. But I wanted to say that I normally do the eyes on a separate layer, especially when I use the multiply layer, which I'm going to make this line art multiply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer, pick a slightly darker color, and I might even make it her purple because her hair is purple, and then I ink the eyes. And I get a bucket. Let me selection source, boop. And then I ink the eyes. But I do keep the irises, which I'll make them orange because she has sort of orange yellow eyes. And yeah, oh god. This is why I don't draw the other eye. Okay, and then I just select Control C, Control V, Control T, and then flip. Also, the program I use is Paint-Tool-Sci for anyone who wants to know that information. Okay, that looks pretty right. I'll fix up the eyes, but well, I'm gonna continue inking, but that is a separate thing that I thought I would tell you guys. I'll continue on with how it is. I'll continue on just with the speed paint part because this is quite. It's just line art. Okay. Okay, I'm here. I wanted to go through the process on how I do this mesh because I realized for some people they might need for that. So, okay. So for the mesh, sometimes I just make the opacity, but I wanted to try out what it would be like to actually like kind of draw it in. No, I don't have any special brushes. Yes, I want Clip Studio Paint. So basically what you need to do is, oh wait, I just realized I need to fix a line. And let me just fix that. Okay, so first things first, I made another layer, and there's the magic select, like a magic wand tool. It looks like a little magic wand, and you just click on it where you want the selection to go. You can use the select pen if you want it, like let's just say I missed a spot. The select pen will you know. We'll draw over it, but I don't think we need the select pen for this. Then we click on the pencil, and I'm just gonna do this and probably lower the opacity. So you select it and then just make lines. Because I'm not fancy and I don't clip. If I had Clip Studio Paint, I'd still be using a mesh brush. And if you have a program with a bunch of fancy brushes, use it. Trust me, it will be nice. Okay, there. This is pretty much all with the line art. So next we'll go with the flat colors. I'll see you guys in the next section because I'm going to separate the sections. Hi, hello. Okay, now this is for the flat colors and rendering. I'm just gonna speed up once I show you the flat colors and then the rendering. So this will just be one section, or the shading / rendering. So this will just be one big, well, not big section because most of this will be sped up because I don't think rendering takes me a long time, and once you get the gist of it, it's quite simple. You do have to have an idea of shading though. Okay, so now we'll start with the first thing I do is I change the canvas to color and I take away the sketch. So we just have our line art and the colors. And then the second thing I do is I select around the sketch or the line art. Why are you doing this to me? Why? I got pencil and I'm making a line. Oh wait. Okay. Now this would be the case where having the little select pen is really useful. So, like, getting really itty bitty bits, like right here, is very useful. I also like to outline it a little bit because you can see that the lines, like they kind of stick out a little bit, and I don't want the base of it. I don't want the base color to like poke out a real lot. So I'm just gonna lightly go around it. It's not the best. It's not the worst. You just kind of have to make sure nothing really pops out unless you want it to. Actually, I find this way easier after I do the colors. So for your flat colors, the first thing I do is I add a base like under everything. So we get our airbrush. Oh wait, first selection, invert selection, so you can color in the inside. Oh, she's blue. Now I just gotta. So that is her skin color, which I'm gonna make that the base color, because a lot of her colors are the skin color. Oh wait, no. Is it left click? Oh god. so that I can have that color saved for later. Then I add on top, I get my bucket, and then everything will be based around this beautiful bright green. Or pale bright green. So when we do her hair, so right now we're just kind of filling it in. We'll go back in and make sure everything is dandy. There. So as you can see, all the corners and all the points are colored in pretty much. Oh wait. Okay, now everything for the hair we want is colored in, so we add another layer. And we'll put it under the hair layer to add in the whites of the eyes, because if not, we'll forget, or I'll forget at least. So always make sure you add in the whites of the eyes. And make sure you put it under the hair and everything else, because if not, it'll it'll be over the hair, and that wouldn't be right because the hair goes over the eyes a little bit. So oh, and that's why. Oh god, I need to fix this up way more than I thought I did. Yeah, and if you do multiply, you're gonna have to color over your lines a little bit. Just be prepared for that, because there will be times where the color does stick out like that. I'm just gonna have to do it and be happy. And same thing with the tail. Just go over it. Essentially I do all of this with the flat colors, so I am going to let this speed up, and I will see you guys when I start rendering. Hi. Okay, so now I looked at my sketchbook and I got her flat colors in, and now all we have to do is the rendering, which I'm going to render a little differently, just for the sake of this video. I normally would render all in one part, and you did see I did render the mouth a little bit because I didn't feel like putting a clipping layer over it, so I was just like, oh, get a darker color and I'll blend it out for the tongue and the mouth, which is easy enough to do. You just get your darker color over your lighter color and get your blend tool and you mix them together. So that is easy. Oh god, where did I go? Hi. Okay. So now we just have to do the shading. So I'm going to start with the skin. So we add a clipping mask, we set it to multiply, we take our base color, we go to airbrush, we make our airbrush small, we make our airbrush that like around this big, and you darken up your color a little bit, maybe saturate it a little bit more, and you start. So you're probably going to change the opacity later, and you're probably going to blend this all out. So this is just getting down like general shadows. Like, obviously there'd be shadows right here and under the neck and around this area. The fingers would have shadows, or the bangs would have shadows, and this part of the face would definitely have some. Right here would definitely have a shadow. Around here. So you get the idea. Basic shadows. Then you get your blending brush. You make it chunky, and you just kind of blend it out so that those brushed on shading is smoother. This is what you do for more soft things, like skin is very soft, so you do this so that the skin is soft. Oh, I'm gonna boot this, and there will be some shading around here, just so that it's softer, because this is just the soft shading, because what I normally do is I go in with a soft shade and then a hard shade. So right now this is just the basic soft shading. Then we take down the opacity to whatever is fit. Oh. And then you take down to the opacity to whatever is fit. You clip that, you multiply that, and then you start going in. I might use blue. I might use this. Actually, I might use teal. Then you go in with a marker or a hard brush of any kind. It's on multiply, and you start adding in your actual hard shadows. So for example, like the neck would be a hard shadow. I might make that a little darker. Yeah, because it's better to go darker than you think you need, and be able to lower the opacity than go too light, and then you have to like double up your layers until you get it right. So the first thing I do when I'm doing my hard shadows is I outline where the shadow is. So this shadow of under the head, it goes all around the hair, right here. And then right where the shadow is casting, I do this. And I do this for the whole thing where the shadow is going to cast and leaving some space for blending. And except for like on small parts, like these fingers don't need that. And then under the nose, the face, I blend out the shading mostly on the face, because you don't want the face to look way too harsh unless you're doing some sort of some dramatic lighting. Which I'm not going to do dramatic lighting. That's because that's going to be a rabbit hole, and yeah. I don't want you guys to go down that rabbit hole, because dramatic lighting can be very hard. So you kind of just harden up your shadows. Like right here, the thigh, there would be a hard shadow. And down around here, there would also be some hard shadows. Just like defining the shape of things and making sure anywhere where there would be a shadow, there is a shadow. Like right here, the jacket would kind of be making a shadow. So add that. And there we go. That is all the skin. So after doing that, you get your blending tool. You make it smaller so it can fit onto like places like the face, and you just blend it. Here, I'm gonna put my stabilization on 0. Because it's way easier to blend when you have a lower stabilization. And make sure to not blend it like all the way, because you still want to have those defined shadows. You just want them to be blended out just a tad, like this. It's especially if it's just one line shadows like these. If it's like this, then you can blend it all you want, but and just continue to blend. I also do this thing where I will leave it like this, and then I'll only shade where the outside of the shadow would be and then blend under. It leaves a really cool effect. So if you want to try it, also my Procreate drawings look way different because the blending tool in Procreate is a lot smoother with their blending, and in Paint Tool Sai it's a lot less, but I kind of like the less smooth sort of look. It's more fun. It has more textures. So there we go. And then I add another multiply layer, and I get that airbrush again, and then there are places in the shadows that are obviously going to be a little darker than the rest of the shadows, and so I just add those in because then I get my blendy tool. I blend them out. Like the base of this, it's completely shadowed by the hair, so it would obviously be way darker because the hair is covering a whole bunch of it. And then same thing with this. And then you just blend it out so that it looks darker. And then you add in your highlights. So you add another layer, you make it a clipping mask. Yeah, I really like my clipping masks, as you can tell. And then I go to shine. I get my skin color and I make like a lighter version. Oh wait, first I do the blush. So I have not decided if Kata gets red blush or not because of her green skin, but let's see. Airbrush. Do we go with it? Oh wait, gotta turn off shine. Or would blue be better? I think the blue might be better just because of her green skin. So you add in where you're gonna put in blush. I'm gonna give her a lot of blush, make it extra cute. And I like to add blush on the shoulders and the knees just for the cuteness factor. And I set the layer to multiply or darken so you can see the shading underneath. You get the water and you blend it out and you lower the opacity on it. Okay, I kind of like that more. Just because you can tell it's blush a little bit better if it's that color. Yeah. Just continue to blend that out. And then you add your highlight. So your highlight is your skin tone but super lighter, and then you get a harder brush and you add a little highlight on the nose and then highlights on the cheeks and the shoulders. Also, I would also add a highlight to the legs because they're there. And then you put it on shine. You get your water brush and you I'm gonna blend out one side for the legs. I normally don't highlight my legs, but I think it'll look nice. So we blend those out so they're not as strong. So I might add a highlight. You know what? We'll add some highlights on the forehead, on these parts of the forehead, and blend them out because it seems like she'd have a shine. There needs to be highlights there. And then you lower the opacity to tone them down a bit. I wouldn't say this with traditional art. You always underdo, and if you underdo it too much, you can just add a little more with digital art. I would say overdo, especially with shading and highlights, because you can just lower the opacity later. So that is her skin. That's the mouth, which I already did, other than the eyes, which I don't always shade the eyes, but I just get a gray. I get the airbrush and then I just kind of lightly go over it, and then I get the water tool and I blend it a little bit, but nothing fancy. I don't always shade the eyes because sometimes when you shade the eyes too much, they get really lost in the hair. So I usually leave them bright white, but for the sake of this, I will. And then the eyes, which the way I shade eyes, it's not unique. It's just adding multiply layers on the top and the shines on the bottom and then shine on the top. I think Well, I might end up talking through all of this, because I want to show you guys how I do this. And hopefully it won't take too long. So we'll just see how it goes. So we get the marker. Actually, we'll go more to red. Get this to go to multiply. We'll go to the water, and then we'll blend. And we'll continue to blend. Then we get our airbrush and our water, and we blend. Lower the opacity of that. There we go, some eyes, and then we'll merge those down together. Time for the highlights. So now we add, like, because she has like orangey yellow eyes, we'll make it this color. Then we'll go to shine, marker, and then we'll add one big shine at the bottom. And sometimes I like to add like little heart-shaped shines. Yeah. There we go. Those are the shines, and those are the beautiful eyes. Haha, don't mind that, I accidentally turned off my drawing tablet. Okay, so now that we have all of this done, time to go to the hair. So the hair. The hair is actually quite simple. It's one of my favorite things to shade, actually. So this should go by quite quickly. So we first get a hard brush, we tone it down, we make it darker. We set to multiply. I really like multiply, if you can't tell. And you kind of fill in parts that are going to have shading, like the ears are going to be shaded. Here, let's just use the bucket. And then this part of the hair. But then, and then maybe this part of the tail. And then after that, you make your brush a little smaller. Actually, I might use the pencil for this. And you basically just add like some texture to it, because hair obviously has some texture. So you add some texture to it to make it seem more like hair. Because before I didn't really add any texture, and the hair seemed really flat compared to the rest of my rendering, and I was like, oh wait, what if I add a little bit of textures to it, and then it won't look as flat? Which it's hard to tell in the final that there is any texturing to it, but if you look at it, it looks better. So yeah, you just kind of follow the flow of the hair and how you would feel like it would go. Or if you're looking at a reference, follow how the hair actually goes. Like on the picture. And you just follow that flow. And then same thing with this tail. You just kind of follow the flow. Then you lower the opacity. And because, I don't know, my pen's being weird and it's not letting me have pointed edges, I just kind of blend out the edges at where it's not, where it's not pointing out, so that it doesn't look wonky when I do it, when you look at it later. And we will just, it'll be there really subtle. As you can see, it's really subtle. You can barely tell because it's just the texture. And then we go to the shading. The shading, it's just a clipping mask. You multiply. This is also quite easy, but I make the shading a little more saturated. You go to your marker and you follow these sort of swoops of the hair where the lines, where your line art is, how the hair swoops. And you just make swoops. Now let's zoom in a little bit so I can fill in the ears, because they would definitely be shaded. And for this part, you just, for the back of the hair behind the, the head, just fill it in fully. Sometimes I like to erase a little bit of it and then do a blending so there's some complexity, but that's not required. Okay, and then you get your water brush. Oh, also with the marker, I also recommend shading kind of the bottom parts of your bangs and the side parts so that it gets more, well, it's a little more noticeable, when, especially if it's longer bangs. So you just kind of get, then you get your blendy brush and you just blend it. I'm going to get the eraser and erase this part of the ear so that you get more of a blendy effect so I can blend out the ears a little bit. There it is, all blended out for the hair. Now we gotta do the tail. Yeehaw! Okay, so you just add the bottom. I always add the bottom shading because obviously it's the tail is a long cylindrical tube. And you add that. Then you just get your blendy tool, and you blend that out. And there is your hair. There's your multiplied layer on your hair. Then you add one more. And you make this a shine layer. This is so predictable. You get your shine layer and you get a light purple or white, depending on what you're gonna do. You get your marker and you trace along your highlights, along your shadows to make your highlights. So And I'm gonna add a little bit of highlighting right here, just to give it some pizzazzles. And then you blend out, you leave one side of your highlight like regular, and then you blend it out. Like this. But for these little highlights, because they're not as strong, I'm gonna blend the whole thing out. But just to show the hair isn't completely in shadow at that point. Go. I'll erase the insides a little bit so that you get more strong highlighting, or less like weak highlighting, and it's more kind of staying in its own area. Now, go back to your blend, and you just continue to blend that out. And then that is the hair. I lowered the highlights a little bit so they're not super intense, but those are the highlights. That's how I shade and highlight hair. Now, the clothing. So, we'll start with the hard parts, and then I think I'm gonna just power through the rest of this, because this segment's already kind of long. So I'm just going to show you how I would shade the spandex and a little bit of like the sample of like this material to give you an example of two different materials. So the first thing I would do with the spandex is treat it very similar to the skin. It is close to the skin. A lot of spandex material is kind of soft. At least in my experience it is. So it isn't going to create super harsh shadows. And for black, especially, just kind of go in with your airbrush with a dark color and like make it a big size, and you should be able to mock in those shadows just like you did. Actually, you might want to use that. And see, mocking in those shadows a little bit, making sure everything's dandy. And you get that water tool or your blending tool, you make it as big as you can and you just blend it out. And as you can see, this already looks pretty like shaded because it's already black or close to black, and it's a spandex, so especially the legs. And then add another layer, and this will where you put your kind of hard shadows. So you just kind of darken it, multiply. And I'm gonna turn up my stabilizer because my arm hurts from all this drawing. But I'm happy to show you guys regardless. So add in, shading for the chest. She does have a really large chest, so it's going to cast a big shadow across the spandex. It's gonna, And this is also black, so the highlighting's going to count. I don't usually highlight my clothing, but because this is black, I normally do highlight my black or gray, really dark gray clothing, so it can pop out, because you can't really shade much with dark colors, That's why I don't use straight up blacks. I always use like really dark grays that look like black after you're done shading it. And now that that is shaded, we go in with the highlights. So I'm gonna pick this light purple, not multiply, shine, and then I use an airbrush for the highlights on clothes because it's less intense than, because most clothes, unless it's like shiny, will not have super harsh highlights. And we're gonna try the stabilizer. Normally the highlights will be not super intense, so I just use an airbrush and I blend them out in all directions because we're probably gonna do this anyway. We're probably gonna lower the opacity like a crazy amount anyway, or this is gonna get erased a little bit. And there we go. That is the spandex. I think I need to add a little bit more defining, like right here with the airbrush, because it feels like it's not dark enough right there. But there we go. There you go. That is the spandex. Now for the big fluffy fabrics. So this is a light color, so I'm not gonna add any highlights, but for this color, there will be a multiply layer, our favorite. I've caught myself in a predicament. What shade color do I use? Will this work? I'm gonna have to use 2 different shade colors. It's fine. Okay, so we'll do this. We'll do the pink side because it's more seen. So first thing you do is get your hard. So I imagine this to be more of a like only really like, I mean there might be some airbrush like for big shadows, like right here's a big shadow because that's behind her. Right here and maybe right here. But like there's not a lot of big shadows. So this is probably all gonna get like super light, and then let me figure out a shade color for the yellow. Maybe orange? Will orange work? But it won't work on the blue. It's okay, we'll figure it out. Swing around to the pink. And then water. And there we go. Wait, let's add a little bit more base shading right there. There we go. Base shading on both sides. I'm only gonna render out this side for this to explain because, you know, time. This video is probably gonna be like 2.5 hours long, and I don't want to waste any more time because I'm gonna cry while editing this. I already know it. So you lower the opacity because you don't want that at full opacity because they're just your little base shadows. Yeah, another clipping mask, and you multiply, baby. Okay. You get a hard brush. You block in your shadows, which I recommend doing this with sort of high stabilization, especially if you're a shaky hand like me. Add in those hard shadows. So right here, super hard shadow. So here would be a hard shadow. So you get the idea, and then you get your water tool. Or not your water tool, but your blending tool, and you blend it out. Also, I should mention this now, this process, you don't need Paint Tool Sai for it. It should work on any program as long as you have a multiply. If you can have some sort of highlighting layer, like a shine layer, or an add glow layer, and if you can have a multiply layer, you should be able, this should work regardless, as long as you have those two things on a program. I should have mentioned it at the beginning of the video. I only thought about it now, it's okay. Oh wait, putting more work on yourself. And then you blend it out. And then you just blend it out. Some places you want the shadows to look a little bit more soft, so it's not just all like harsh, super harsh. And there you go. I think the shading's a little too light, and I might, and then if the shading looks a little too light, get the airbrush, have a dark color, and make sure the airbrush is kind of small, and darken up your shadows a little bit so that it's not too light, because if you feel like it's too light, just blend that into your shadows. And there you go. That is that is how I render. I might add in some highlights. That's because I've been adding in highlight. Actually, you know what? I'll show how I highlight harder clothes for anyone who wants to do black. So for harder clothes like this, I will use a hard highlight. So let's get a lighter pink. Let's get a marker. And then you blend it out. That's how you would highlight. You would highlight basically around where the light source is, and then kind of around the shadows to give a harsher like highlight. When I highlight, I like the harsher highlights. I think they have a very standout look, and if you're looking at it from afar, like you're scrolling on your phone and it's a YouTube thumbnail, or if you're scrolling on your phone and it's just a little Instagram post, it'll catch someone's eye, and someone's eye will be able to catch it way, way faster if the things like this are way more pronounced. And you lower the opacity, because this doesn't need very many highlights. This doesn't even really need highlights, but I'll think that. Okay, so I'm gonna probably speed through the rest of this, because it's just this process, but in different spots. Since this is the final part, I mean, other than the background, which I'll go over the background a little bit, but I kind of half-ass in my backgrounds. So, see you guys in the next like little section. Hi. Okay. So, as you can see, this is pretty much finished, other than we need a background. I added some extra lighting, which was just some special layers. If you want to add special lighting, like with like different colors over it, you kind of just have to play. I don't know how to explain it. You just kind of have to play with it until it looks right. But I found this. It's kind of purple. This is cute. Actually, I might lower the opacity of both of these. There we go. And then we have some highlighting. Some like really loose highlighting. Now we gotta figure out a background. Yay. My definite favorite part. So I didn't really think of a background. I'm thinking just some shapes. Some fun shapes. But first, I like to call this the sticker thing, where basically you get a white. First we invert our selection and we get a white, and we basically trace over this whole thing and make it pop out like a sticker. So, yay, stickers. I see a lot of artists do this. You've probably heard of this idea. If you're doing like a serious scene, which I am currently not, I'm just kind of drawing Kata being adorable. Oh god. Violet's back in here. Okay. We're gonna hear some more carnage. But Violet's my cat, by the way, by any new viewers, which are a lot of you. Violet is my cat. My little demon baby. Let's turn up the... Yeah, there we go. Have you come to say hello? Oh, she left. There we go. Now she's all beautiful. Okay, I think I want to make... I want to make this a little bit like lighter. Here, let's go back to normal. Put out full opacity. Filter, colored, and oh no. There we go. That's better. So after we get that, we add another layer. We put that under. And we'll start adding something. We'll figure it out. For like backgrounds, like buildings, I'm not the best. And that's its own can of worms. But I think we're gonna do a space galaxy. But do I remember how to draw a galaxy? We'll see. Okay, I think I do remember how to draw a galaxy. This will be fun. for a galaxy, like just kind of splash in what colors, like so I'd normally would do blues and purples. And kind of just splash them in and blend them. I might make this galaxy slightly more of a blue because Kata is a lot of purple, but that's a preference. And then sometimes I'll add like a nebula in the back, and I'll make it like a way different color. Like sometimes I've seen nebulas that are like super saturated, bright, beautiful, bright yellows, and like they'll mix together with a bright like pink, and it's really cool. We'll see if that works out. Oh wait. Dang it. Should probably flip the nebula. Or maybe it's not called a nebula, but it's called something. And then on this side will be the pink. Oh, and it'll match your jacket! I'm smart! Okay. Let's go down and 700, yeah. And then just kind of blend it out. Then I'm gonna add another layer. And we're gonna get that bright yellow and a marker, and we're just gonna we're gonna get that bright pink, and we're gonna go do the same thing. Or that's not pink, that's red. That pink. Then we're gonna get that water. We're gonna actually no, we're gonna blend it in the middle. I don't think this looks much like a nebula, but we're working on it. It kind of looks, I mean, it looks cute, so, you know. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more, like, darker parts to this. God, okay. I'm really tired. I've been recording this. I haven't really taken breaks between I took a break between the first and second section, and that's it. So I'm very tired. But we're powering through. Now we just get our pencil white. And we're gonna add in the stars. We should probably zoom in. And I would make the stars more clustered by the nebula because that just seems like it makes more sense. What happens if I turn off this? Oh, she really blends into this. Okay, that means I should probably filter color adjustments. I might color adjust this and make it a different. Whoa, that looks cool. Okay. Here, and I'll let me add a regular blue like galaxy, like with an airbrush under it so that it doesn't look too crazy. And I'll add some purples. We'll get the water brush and we'll blend it. And we'll just... There we go. There's Kata. Another thing you should always do when you're done is I'm going to sign this with my signature. Because that is always extremely important if you don't want people to steal your art. Also, I can save and I can deselect. And we're gonna add our signature. Let me make this pencil smaller. Miwa 777, and I have multiple social medias, so I'm going to add. So this will be my YouTube. And then if you have multiple social medias with like different usernames, I'd also do this too. So because if the theft is on Instagram and you have an Instagram and you put your Instagram watermark on there. Actually, I might make that a little bit. I might make my own watermark layer at the very top. Yeah, that probably makes sense. Yeah. So there's my YouTube. I'll put my Instagram. Let's rotate this. That is my Instagram, if any of you are interested. And then I'll probably put my TikTok, I'll put it along her arm. And that is, okay, let me check. Because I don't remember how many numbers I had to add behind it to actually get it to, like, register my name. Okay, so... So, it's Miwa7775. There we go. Then I can alter these and make these as big and as small as I want. Like, I think this watermark's a little big. You don't want your watermark... Sometimes you want your watermarks to be big, but sometimes you're, like, you don't want to, like, you don't want them to... Like, I don't like my watermarks being super duper big. Like, sometimes they need to be a little small so they're not super noticeable. And you can put them, like, in difficult places for people to erase. Like, places where there's gradients. Like, that's also a good tip for watermarks. Anywhere where there is a gradient, super good, because then... it's really hard to take it out without it, like, take out a watermark without it being well noticed by people. And I might move this up here so that and then this one, which I'm also going to desize because it also seems a little too big. We'll just make it a little bit smaller. Put it right there. haven't had an art theft problem yet, but I am very concerned of the day that I do. So these are always super good to have. Okay, and now that this artwork is pretty much done, so if you've watched this long, you are extremely committed, and thank you for being so committed. My next video is gonna be way less intense than this. This is gonna require like 2 days of editing from me. But I am happy I was able to get this whole process. I hope this helps you guys, and I hope that my sections help, and I hope it's not too long to where no one watches it and no one gets the help. But thank you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you. Bye-bye.